Hello, my name is Sam Feltham. I'm the Director of the Public Health Collaboration and welcome to the PHC Virtual Conference 2020. The coronavirus has changed all of our lives, but where there's an obstacle, there's also an opportunity. And that opportunity comes in the guise of this virtual conference. Earlier this year, we had to postpone our two main events, the annual conference and the Real Food Rocks Festival, until next year. These events allow us to connect, learn and grow, but they also help us raise crucial funds for the PHC to continue. With that in mind, and before we let the next presenter speak, this virtual conference is 100% free for all. But if you find the content valuable today, then please consider donating £2 or whatever you can afford through the Total Giving website via www.phcuk.org/donate. Or if you're in the UK, you can simply text PHC to 70660 to donate £2 directly from your phone. We hope you enjoy the conference from wherever you are in the world, and be sure to get involved in the civil conversation on the comment section here on YouTube or via the hashtag PHCVCon2020 on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for your support, take care and stay safe.
Thanks to Sam Feltham for the introduction and for everything he has done with the PHC. My talk is going to be about how food affects our health, both physical and mental, but mainly the latter. I'll go through my own experience and my health improvements after I started real food, low-carb eating. And towards the end, I'll throw in some slightly random stats on our health in the UK. I became an ambassador with the PHC 18 months ago. My success on behalf of them, to date, I say, shall be steady, not really brilliant. But sometimes one meets with others who inspire you, and that's what happened to me not so long ago. Without that spark of inspiration, I might not be giving this presentation today. Before getting on with this, I can say that I came to low-carb eating through a Tim Noakes video. The thing that we have in common is that we were both born in Zimbabwe. I'm a retired civil engineer, so hopefully I can bring something different from my own experience and research. I think I've learned something new almost every day for the last 2 years. Can't say I've remembered that much of it, but some of it has stuck with me. Add years to life and life to years. That was the objective of the British Nutrition Foundation Task Force in 1994. It's a nice sentiment that has been around for a long while. Now today our life expectancy is 81. With a few years less for men and a few more for women. But on average, 18 years of those 81 years will be spent in not good health. For those over 65, the news is not great. I'm almost 70, and this is telling me that roughly half of the rest of my life will be in not good health. And I think I was probably heading that way in any case. But whatever happened to that objective of adding life to years? These were the health problems that had accumulated over the years for me. They just creep in nice and slow, so you don't really notice them. And you almost get used to them as well. Well, almost, I say. Having headaches for a few weeks at a time is no fun at all. And that mid-morning energy crash was a regular event, just not feeling great. I even bought a large couch to have my afternoon nap. And I didn't even notice I was becoming more forgetful and mentally slower. I was told that I would start a sentence and not finish it. So eventually I decided I should see my doctor after having one of those long headaches. He sent me for blood tests, that came back normal, except from a slight vitamin deficiency. I didn't think that was the answer. So I thought I'd get a second opinion from the internet and try and figure it out myself. The internet slowly suggests further similar leads, and it led me to Tim Noakes and his story. That was right at the end of October 17, and on 1st of November, my wife and I cleared out our kitchen of high-carb food and started low-carb eating. We did this together, though for slightly different health reasons. And I do wonder how many other people know the date when they started low-carb eating. I bet it's one of those dates that many can remember. We really liked what Tim Noakes said, and, well, we believed in him. I don't remember having any real expectations about possible health improvements. Besides, though, I didn't think that cutting out breakfast cereals and bananas, bread, pasta, and starchy veg, and a few other things would do us any harm. So we just dived right in at the deep end. Now I like to measure things. I guess that's part of my training as an engineer. I weighed everything I ate for 2 months, and I do mean everything, even the cream in my coffee and the milk in my tea and the handful of nuts that I would often have. And I calculated all the macro numbers on a daily basis in a spreadsheet that I made. The pictures give a good idea of what I ate on what was essentially high carb and what I've been eating since on low carb. It's now bacon and eggs instead of muesli and banana, cream in my coffee instead of sugar. I'll say that I was able to transition over a few days and also did not have any of that keto flu. I've been fairly disciplined most of the time, though occasionally one has a slip. A slice of chocolate cake at a friend's house brought back the headaches, so I don't do that anymore. I made an estimate of what I ate on high carb eating. My carbs went down from about 330 grams per day to an average of 35 grams per day, and I'm still on that. You can see that my daily calories also went down, probably because now I eat 2 meals a day. I'm not hungry in the mornings. So, did my health change direction? There were some surprises. First thing I noticed is that I started to lose weight. The chart shows my weight before and after changing diet. I've recorded my weight every morning for many, many years. Weight loss wasn't my goal though, it just happened. I lost almost 2 stone in 3 months, and 2.5 years later I'm still 83 kilos or 13 stone. The last time I was that weight was when I left school over 50 years ago. As I said, I had no real expectations, just hoping for some health improvement. Though it didn't take long before I felt some of the changes. The physical improvements first. All of these changes got me wondering how a change in diet could do this for me, so I started doing even more research. What also surprised me were the changes in my mood, my memory, and my mental clarity. Perhaps we can put terms like having a senior moment and grumpy old man into the rubbish bin. I don't think that's me anymore. Also, I don't get hay fever, and I've had fewer and shorter colds. That must mean something, having an improved immune system these days. As I'm not an expert, I'm going to highlight what some of the experts have said. Jackie Eberstein worked with Dr. Robert Atkins for almost 30 years. At first she was a skeptic about his work, but then she herself was helped by him. And now she's giving us the benefit of her experience. Here she listed some of the many conditions that can be improved with a ketogenic diet, They're mostly physical conditions, but she also mentions that concentration will improve. I've highlighted those conditions that improved with me. It seems that these improvements are quite common on low-carb eating. Some of you will have listened to Tom Watson's talk at the All-Party Parliamentary Group on diabetes in February last year. He talked about his changes, mostly mental improvements. He said his cognitive functioning had significantly improved. His memory was better. He was sharper, he was calmer, and he could concentrate for longer. Now, none of that surprised me, as I'd had the same experience. Also, I particularly liked his reference to the productive capacity and the collective well-being of the nation being significantly enhanced if we change the lives of 2 million people. The 2 million who could reverse their type 2 diabetes is who he was referring to. I think that this significant enhancement might also apply to millions more who can improve many other chronic lifestyle conditions through diet alone. Both Virta and Diet Doctor have great websites and post many comments from those who have benefited from low-carb eating. There's hundreds of comments, thousands probably. Here's a few of them. Virta is of course having fantastic success with reversing type 2 diabetes, but I wanted to show a few of the other benefits, the side benefits. Perhaps that's a term we should use a bit more now. This last comment, saying I wish I had known this 20 years ago, echoes with me. Let's hope nobody will be saying that in 20 years' time. And staying with Virta for the moment, and I know that Dr. Hallberg is speaking, I wanted to highlight these two results and try and join the dots between improvements in inflammation and insulin resistance on low-carb eating, and possible improvements in other conditions. And this study from 2002 on the relationship between sugar consumption and major depression said that high levels of sugars in the body played a role in developing chronic inflammation. And this was the cause of a wide range of mental disorders. And Georgia Ede has a wonderful way of simplifying what could be complicated. I'll read this out. There is a strong connection between rising rates of mental distress and the obesity and diabetes epidemics. Refined carbohydrates and refined industrial oils are very powerful promoters of inflammation and oxidation. Many mental health disorders are very strongly linked to inflammation and oxidation. Now, the industrial oils she is referring to are not something you'd put in your car, but they're the everyday vegetable oils that we buy at the supermarket. Though it is technically possible, I've found out, to convert a car and run on these vegetable oils. And our government stats show that between 1980 and 2000, the consumption of vegetable oils doubled in the UK. Another psychiatrist, Chris Palmer, also connected inflammation and mental illness. And now Dale Bredesen, with his book The End of Alzheimer's, says that insulin resistance is the single most important metabolic contributor to Alzheimer's disease. So going back to the very positive results from Virta on inflammation and insulin resistance, we can see that there are strong links between our food and our physical and mental health, and that improvements can come about with real food, low-carb eating. I read Adam Brown's book. Brilliant book it was. Bright Spots and Landmines. The title seems a bit odd at first, but it is a great book. He has type 1 diabetes and he manages it with a low-carb diet. This excerpt is something that struck a chord with me. When my blood sugar is in range, I know that I am a kinder, more patient person with the people around me. I have more energy to do things that make me happy. I smile more and am less stressed. I sleep better and I can think more clearly. That's his mood and spirit being in a place where it should be. He realizes that he has to keep his blood sugar stable, and as I say, he does that with low-carb eating. I wanted to end with some facts and figures. I'll read these out. There are 15.4 million with at least one long-term physical condition in England, and 10.2 million have mental health problems in England. And between these two, there's an overlap of 4.6 million who have both a long-term physical condition and have mental problems. In addition, there's 7 times the risk of depression in those with 2 or more long-term physical health conditions. And it's 2 to 3 times more likely to have depression for people living with diabetes. Here are some more slightly random, scary, but connected health numbers. 57% of our total energy intake comes from ultra-processed food in UK, and 81% of adolescents exceed the recommended 10% limit of free sugar in their diet. And if you work that out, that limit is already equivalent to 12 to 15 teaspoons of sugar every day. Here's another number worth some thought. 50% of parents with obese children see their child's weight as about right. The stats show that fathers were slightly less concerned than mothers about their children being obese, but the results are quite similar. And in the 10 years from 2007 to 2017, there's been an 878% increase in NHS hospital admissions where obesity was a factor. That's gone up from about 80,000 a year to over 700,000. Huge increase. And lastly, there's been a 37% increase in diabetes, also from 2007 to 2017. But in the same period, there's been a 63%, almost double, increase in diabetes medication prescriptions. I got these last 2 figures from Diabetes UK, and I should say that they did not present them side by side as I have. Now, I couldn't do this presentation without something from Tim Noakes. 85% of ill health is due to your diet. Wow. And what you eat determines on a daily basis how you feel, your emotions, your energy, and whether you're becoming healthier or less healthy. Of course, there are many who do not, or maybe just cannot, believe what Tim Noakes has said there. But my own experience and also my research would tell me that he's absolutely right. And lastly, my wife told me the other day, I don't want to lose the person I once was. She was referring to her mental and emotional health as age advances. We've managed to change our health for the better, and I don't think either of us have lost the person that we once were. And also I'm thinking that we will be spending a great deal more than 50% of the rest of our lives in good health. Thank you very much.